That's at 6, 5 back a couple of inches. 5 come back, 4 come back.
3 forward, 3 forward. Okay, that's fine.
Attention.
The flag is up.
Êtes-vous prêts? Partez.
In rowing, success depends on strength and endurance, but above all, on the mastery of technique. The aim is to apply the full power of the body onto the oar and lever the boat fast through water. Different nations to meet different ways of living and different national training conditions. There are 2 basic techniques. One emphasizes body swing and is used especially by oarsmen from East Germany. With this, the reach and length of stroke is achieved with the body stretched well over the knees. It uses a long forward reach and a short slide movement. The workload is placed heavily on the lower back muscles. This technique is very effective, but because the back muscles take a long time to develop, it's best suited to nations whose oarsmen can spend a great deal of time training. The other style uses a more compressed technique. Body swing is reduced, slide movement is longer. The great compression of trunk and legs exploits the full power thrust of the legs. The thigh muscles take less time to train than the muscles of the lower back. So this style is more suited to countries where the pattern of life allows less time for training. It's used successfully by West Germany and Britain. It's this compressed technique, here used by British oarsmen, which will be analysed in this film. The analysis begins with blade work. It's the blade which propels the boat. The principle of good blade work is the same whatever the style of the bodywork. During the approach to the catch, the blade is completely feathered. It clears the water surface by 5 to 15 centimetres, depending on water conditions. To minimise shoulder fatigue, there should be a controlled relaxation of the arms and wrists during the forward swing of the body. With the blade being squared as late as possible, this also lessens the effect of wind resistance on the back of the blade. But at the catch, the blade should be fully square. It should enter the water fast, wasting no time getting a firm hold. The fully squared blade should immediately find a locking point in the water. From this locking point, the boat is levered through the water past the blade. Only the spoon itself is submerged, with the lower neck of the loom sweeping at the surface of the water. Always remember, it's the boat which moves through the water, not the blade. During the power phase of the stroke, a cavity is created in the water behind the blade. Creation of the cavity allows the blade to be extracted cleanly. This can be seen as the film action runs backward and forward. Extraction must be square to retain maximum sternward thrust at the finish. The outside hand controls a downward semicircular movement of the oar handle as the blade is turned onto the feather. It's this downward movement which determines the height of the blade in relation to the surface of the water. The handle reaches the top of its cycle as the blade moves downwards into the water at the end of the recovery. The arms are relaxed and straight, the wrists loose. The upward movement of the oar handle drives the blade vertically downward into the water in a swift, aggressive movement. Watch it again. And once more. Always the oar handle makes a rounded upward curve. With the blade vertical in the water, power is applied in line with the direction of the boat. The movement must be continuous. Any hesitation will detract from the immediate application of power in the horizontal plane and interfere with the smooth run of the boat. At the end of the stroke, the blade comes well clear of the water and rotates smoothly and swiftly onto the feather. Rotation is controlled by the inside hand at the lowest part of the cycle. Now, watch the blade. To achieve this catch, the hands will now be at the top of the curve. To lift and feather, the handle will be at the lowest part of the curve once more. Always it's the inside hand alone which rotates the oar, both at the beginning and the finish of the stroke. During the recovery, the inside hand stays very relaxed, lightly grasping the oar handle. The outside arm and hand work solely as a hook, with the wrist remaining flat throughout the whole cycle. Maximum leverage is obtained by placing this hand at the end of the handle. The whole movement should be an accelerating one, with the blade moving at its fastest towards the end of the stroke. The reach of the outside hand and arm is important in determining the length of the stroke. Now the full cycle. Using the British style with limited body swing, full compression of the legs and long slide movement, the blades move in a mechanically effective arc. This produces a very direct thrust. The use of long oars complements this pattern of forces, with little of the driving force wasted sideways, either away from or towards the side of the boat. Good blade work reflects the powerful and efficient use of the whole body. Watch how power is related to blade work, as now we analyze the action of each part of the body. Control of the blade begins with the hands on the oar handle. Spacing of the hands is important, with at least 2 hands' width separating them. This enables the pull to be in direct alignment with the shoulders. The outer shoulder, at the beginning of the stroke, must be fully extended forward. And it must remain high. A drop shoulder would encourage the oarsman to lift the blade before the beginning of the stroke. The length of the reach is one factor determining the speed of the boat, and a twist of the body adds further to the extended shoulder reach. It's this extended movement in British technique which gives extra length without an excessive body swing over the knees, and so the body twist is of the greatest importance. The head should remain steady throughout the whole cycle. This helps good balance and is part of the smooth body movement, vital if the boat is to have a fluent run through the water. The legs give the primary thrust to the stroke. In this style, the legs are used through their full range of movement by means of long slides and maximum compression. At the catch, the seat should be as close to the heels as flexibility of knees and ankles allows. Shins should be vertical. By the end of the recovery, the chest is again compressed against the thighs. The full power of the legs is applied when the body is upright. The angle between thighs and chest must open very fast at the beginning of the stroke for the full body weight to be effective. As the oarsman leans back, the large shoulder and back muscle groups contract rapidly before the power of the arms becomes effective, so that at the catch, it's the upper back and shoulder muscles which take the strain. arms remain straight during the first part of the stroke. The lower back muscles assist in the opening of the angle between the chest and the thighs. The whole movement is designed so pressure is maintained throughout the middle part of the stroke, while the boat is levered across the water. Good rowing technique requires coordination of all parts of the body. A straight, correct catch and maintenance of this arm position is vital in the early part of the stroke. Full compression followed by an explosion of the legs achieves maximum thrust forward for the boat. The explosive opening of the body angle combined with this early leg drive ensures that the shoulders arrive above the seat at the mid position. This is a fundamental element in British rowing technique. The whole movement cycle shows, first the explosion of the legs, then the swing of the body weight upwards and backwards leaning against the resistance of the blade. Finally, a muscle pile of the shoulders and arms coming to aid the body weight in accelerating the movement of the blade. It's the mid part of the stroke which is mechanically the most effective. The thrust is then directly astern. At the finish of the stroke, the correct timing of movements is very important. The hands must move swiftly away, clearing the knees before the slide begins to move astern. So it's hands, body, slide, one after another. Hands, body, slide. The trunk swings up to and through the vertical, achieving maximum reach forward by the time half the sliding distance has been covered. At the finish, the change of direction should be smooth. An excessive drawback of the shoulders like this is wrong, because it can cause the oar handle to bounce away rather than complete a smooth return. The timing of the related movements of blade, body and slide must be carefully coordinated. The blade must be squared at the moment the body is ready to move backwards, and it turns onto the feather exactly as the recovery movement begins. Rowing must be a harmonious, rhythmic movement. Each part of the stroke must be given the right emphasis and power. The whole movement must be coordinated with this interplay of tension, relaxation and controlled timing. In the individual, this means the oarsman's own sequence and speed of movement must be in constant harmony with that of the boat. With crew rowing, this harmony has to be synchronized with the other oarsmen, producing a total unity of movement. The timing of the stroke must be the same on both sides of the boat. The pressure of the blades on either side must be balanced. Any imbalance will cause sideways thrusting of the hull, like this. And this reduces the speed of the boat. During the whole stroke, the oarsman must move along the central line of the boat. If this isn't done, an oarsman on the other side of the boat is forced to compensate, disturbing balance and reducing speed. With good rowing technique, all these elements are coordinated. Oarsmen row consistently with one another in perfect crew unity. In an 8, synchronization is even more complex than in smaller crews. In a practice start, Great Britain's world champion lightweight 8 demonstrate fine crew unity, the result of meticulous training and repeated practice. These oarsmen show the essential qualities of the British technique: high compression, explosive application of power from the legs and back, the sequence of movements at the finish, hands, then body, then slide, with relaxed, even-paced slide control. Just as within the boat, the technique of oarsmen must be consistent, so also on a national scale, technique should be standardized. Only if all oarsmen in a country row with the same method can they provide a common pool from which can be drawn national crews able to row together. In competition, it's good technique which supports the oarsman throughout the long effort of the race. However powerful the crew, it's only with fine technique, sustained under the intense physical pressure of the race, can the crew of any nation give its ultimate performance.